A natural place for many to start their research endeavors is either Google or Wikipedia. While these resources can help, are they the best place to start research for an academic inquiry? Much of the answer to this question comes back to the research triangle. Like many research endeavors, it really depends on what one is looking for. If you have a good grasp of background knowledge for your topic, already have a good article or two in place, then Google Scholar, not Google, may be a great resource. On the flip side, if you really do not know much about your topic and need a bit more background knowledge, Google and or Wikipedia can be a great asset to your research endeavors. However, when used outside of these two parameters, both Wikipedia and Google Scholar can be difficult. When tools like Wikipedia and Google Scholar are used correctly, they can be incredibly beneficial. When used incorrectly, however, they can be detrimental. We have been working through the topic of the impact of violent video games on kids. Let's do a few searches to show how to best use these resources. Just by looking at the results of this one search should cause some questions to rise. Which one should I trust? Can I use either of these as research for my class? While it is very natural to choose one and not the other, depending on the position one is trying to argue, the research being done for this project should strive for credible resources. What makes a resource credible? Let's look at this website. It should be noted before we begin looking at this that there are many resources available that are not necessarily black and white. That is, a good or bad resource. Let's look at a matrix developed that might help assess this site. First question we need to ask is who wrote this page? Jack Young, a reporter with the Missourian Reporter. This, in and of itself, is a red flag. The only credentials this author has is that he is a reporter, not an expert in the field, and he does not have extensive credentials in this area, nor does he list them. Secondly, are the sources well documented? Again, this is another red flag for this article. There are no sources documented at all. What would the documentation of sources look like? Oftentimes it is either a sources cited page or bibliography at the end of academic works. While there are more indicators, these two suggest this is not a credible source and likely should not be cited or used in my research endeavors. Let's look a little further in a different resource, Wikipedia. As I noted earlier, Wikipedia can be a great tool for developing background knowledge. Go to Wikipedia and type violent video games, and it takes us to an entry entitled Video Game Controversies. This article may provide some great background for your research in this area. However, even if you know a lot about this topic already, Wikipedia can be incredibly helpful. Let me provide one example. In this entry, there is a section on hypotheses of negative effects of video games. Let's look at that section. In that section, there's a part that states, in 2001, a meta-analysis review was conducted at Iowa State University in order to determine a relationship between video game violence and aggression in teenagers. Out of 3,033 participants, the effect size was positive, deducing that high video game violence does in fact lead to heightened aggression among teenagers. Another meta-analysis conducted the same year by John Cherry was more skeptical of efforts, specifically questioning whether the interactivity of video games made them have more effect than other media. If you click on the numbers after the text, it takes you to the citations of these two studies. While they are a bit outdated and much has developed since their publication, these two resources can provide a great venue through which more resources can be found. This is where Google Scholar can assist. Let's look at the first article mentioned. The first question is, what do I do with this citation? Let's go to Google Scholar. Before we get started in Google Scholar, let's make sure that it is set up to access Corban University's resources. As you may be aware, not everything in Google Scholar is available full text. By hooking up to Corban University's content, it provides a linkage to content that is available full text and the ability to request content via Corban University library that is not available full text. At the home page of Google Scholar, click on the menu tab in the left-hand column and click on Settings. Click on Library Links, type in Corban, and hit the search queue. Click on Corban University Library Full Text at Corban, and hit Save. Now, when you do your searches, it will provide links to Corban University's library's resources. Google Scholar really does well when looking for particular articles. It is difficult to do searches with keywords or ideas like we did in Corbin Search, because Google Scholar does not have the extensive ability to narrow down results, again, unlike Corbin Search. Let's look for the article. There are 2 full-text links in the article, one through Corbin and one through Iowa State. Before we bring up this article though, let's look at the Cited by feature. Cited by provides a list of resources that have cited this article since its publication. There are 2 things about this that make that helpful. First, since it cited the publication, it is more than likely in some way related to it. And second, it was published after this work, making it more recent. Let's take a look. Since I have a lot of works to look through, let's narrow it down a bit by searching within cited articles for the word violence. And let's narrow it down further by looking at publications since 2013. There are some interesting articles. Let's look at this one. To access the full text, click on Full Text at Corbin, and then click on PDF Full Text. Here's my article. It is always helpful to read the abstract first. The abstract often describes what the article is about. A second article that I want to look at is the promotion of violence by the mainstream media of communication. There is no full text link, but it does have the option to search at Corbin. When I click on this link, it searches all of Corbin University's databases. And in this case, it could not find anything. The text states that in order to request the article, I need to sign in. The sign-in queue is in the upper right-hand corner. Click on it. The sign-in is the same as your user ID and password for Converge, Outlook, the network, etc. It is typically first name, last name, no space, and no@corbin.edu, and then your network password. Once you log in, it will take you back to the screen. Your name will be in the upper right hand corner and the link Resource Sharing Request will appear. Hit this link. The title typically appears in the box for title. If it does not, copy and paste it and hit request. This item has been requested for you and we will notify you via email when it comes in. Once you get this resource, it may be helpful to look through the bibliography to find further resources. Utilizing Google Scholar and Wikipedia appropriately can pull up great resources for your research endeavors. If you have any questions about Google Scholar or Wikipedia, please feel free to contact the library at any time. Thank you.